I'm going to talk about Pray You Catch Me by Dominique Thomas. This book, before you read it, it says that it has physical violence in it. Let me tell you, it does have physical violence in it. It's not to that extent, but it is more towards the end of the book. The book is basically about Micah Easton and her dad and her best friend. I forgot her best friend name, but Micah suffered from MDD, which is major depression disorder. It makes her hear voices. Her mother had it, her brother had it. The book started out with Micah flashbacking about her 10th birthday when her mom came in. Her mom was on drugs. Her mom came in to steal her birthday money. Her brother tripped the mom. She fell down the stairs and died. The brother took it to heart, and the brother killed himself a year after. That's when the major depression started for Micah. Fast forward 9 years later, now she's 19. Easton is in the front forefront of her life. Easton, her father, are her enablers. They give her money to go shopping. They give her money to do whatever she wants, because basically they're trying to help her not be depressed. You know what I mean? But I think it's good and bad. Her father's a doctor, so he's loaded, right? So he's loaded, and he's just basically enabling her. So is Easton, because Easton gave her a credit card to shop with. Her dad gave her a credit card to shop with. She's supposed to go to therapy. She goes, she cuts out the therapist. She's supposed to take a medication. She stopped taking out the medication. She stopped taking the medication. She goes shopping with her aunt. It was just so much going on. Mickey needed help. And I think I blame her dad more than Easton, only because her dad pushed the death of mother and brother aside, and basically like they were never in existence, and basically was focused on her because he didn't want her to go down the wrong path. He didn't want to end up like them. And I felt it was good and bad, because I understand why he's doing it, because he wants his daughter. That's the only living child he has left. But not addressing the situation made it even worse. So that took her in a downward spiral, like really bad, really, really, really bad. And she just basically, in order to get back at her dad, just went shopping. You know what I mean? And her aunt was there going shopping and stuff like that. Her aunt's young. She never said how old her dad is, but I think her aunt's 36. Her aunt is young. Her aunt is basically, I don't know what to say, like, it's not trifling, but her aunt is like young-minded for a woman, and that's very rare. But she was very like immature in that aspects. Easton is the male alpha figure in the book. Easton is phenomenal. However, I blame him for some of the things that Mickey went through, only because, and that's the fact that he's an enabler. Also, he never really put his foot down and say, Mickey, you need to do this to make yourself better, because he was just basically more of a yes man. Yes, Mickey, I'm there for you. Yes, I'm supporting you. Yes, whatever you need, you could talk to me. But I think if he had just been like strong enough to say, no, you need to take your medication, you need to go to therapy, she would have listened, because she only really listened to him. She didn't listen much to the aunt. She didn't care for the therapist at all. And her dad was just like, whatever, dad. You know what I mean? She just did stuff to shut him up so he could support her habit. But then she was also trying to please him by going to school for biology to become a therapist, but she really wanted to be a designer. So Easton was basically saying, babe, if you want to be a designer, I will support you. You don't need your dad. And I understand, and I love him for that. But I really think she more needed a mental help than the designing part, because early in the book, she was just getting on my nerves. She was just like a spoiled brat. Both Easton and her dad, they were just like, oh, I wanted to strangle them. I'm like, somebody put your foot down and say, no more. They wouldn't do it. They just wouldn't do it. And that's when it just keep on getting worse and worse. Palmer's in this book. Palmer's from the previous book. I forgot the name of Arquez and Palmer. So Palmer plays her friend in this book. She's also Palmer's daughter godmother. So Palmer's her friend, and he's like, okay, Palmer's like, what's going on? Talk to me. You know, everybody's like walking on eggshell around her. And I didn't like that. I understand it, but I didn't like it, because she really, really needed somebody to put their foot down on her so she could get her help. She really, really needed help. And it's like everybody was just like sugarcoating it. No, just go, you gotta take your medication. You're not, no, somebody needed a strong hold to this girl and take her, because it was just too much. It got so bad that she's met Coben. I hate that guy. And he introduced her to Percocet and Xanax and all this stuff. So eventually she just got worse. And then Easton, he withheld the information from her because he kept on going back and forth to California. So she was like, what's in California? He was like, oh, I'll tell you soon, I'll bring you soon, stuff like that. So she's like, maybe he has another family. And her best friend said, yeah, maybe he does. And long story short, he did have another family, but it wasn't a sexual family. It was his stepsister or adopted sister with her daughter, and he was just basically there for them. And in the mental state that this girl is in, you cannot keep stuff like that from her, because she's going to go left field, like way left. And that's exactly what happened. And she basically ran away the first time because of that. Because the sister came into the picture and she was basically trying to take over, and he allowed it. You know what I mean? He didn't see anything wrong with that, but that's a man point of view. They don't see stuff that woman sees. Anyway, she ran away first of all, and then she came back. She ran away and she came back, right? Why this fool messed up again? She found information in his phone about her best friend. I wish I could remember her name. But the best friend was sleeping. She didn't sleep with him. She basically gave him a BJ and he kicked her off and stuff like that. However, it caused a rift in the relationship, because when he called her and she said, oh, did you sleep with my best friend? He was like, he didn't say nothing at first. And then he said, it's not what you think, come home. What? Why do men do that? Why can't you just be straight up and say, no, we didn't have sex. It was something else. And I could tell you what it is now, but I'd rather tell you in person. You know what I mean? But no, he told her that her mental state is not right. You know what's going to happen. So you know what? She just went way left. That was it. It was over for her. She was gone. Like literally gone. She ran away completely. She was gone for 5 months. She was taking drugs. She was sleeping with Coben. His father, his uncle was emotionally, physically abusive to her. They were just a hot mess. And I felt so bad for her, because she knew she was wrong. She knew she made a mistake, but she couldn't go back, because she was like, I already made this mistake. I'm not going back there. I want to, but I don't want to. The only person she really kept in contact with was her grandmother and Palmer, and that was it. She didn't really get in contact with anybody else. She didn't want to go back to Easton because she felt like she can't make amends with their relationship. She didn't want to talk to her best friend. But then it got worse, because the abuse just kept on coming and coming and coming. I'm glad she went and got help. She met Jasenia, and Jasenia basically was in the church, and they were talking, and she telling her, like, you could count on God. The pastor prayed for her. That was a light right there for her. But it went way left after that. Like, I was like, I couldn't take it anymore. It was just such an emotional roller coaster. It turned out that she was pregnant, and Coben dad raped her, and the baby barely survived because they had to do an emergency C-section on her. So she called her aunt and told her aunt exactly what happened, and said, I can't face Easter right now because I really messed up. I know he don't want anything to do with me. And then she left. And so he went to the hospital. He's taking care of his son. Everybody was there to support him and stuff. So, long story short, she basically eventually got help. Her dad took her to Switzerland. Oh, she met Murder, and Murder basically was talking to her and everything and trying to be a voice of reason. So, in the end, she tried to kill herself. And I don't know how Easton found her, but he found her and he brought her to help. So God was protecting her, because the amount of drugs she takes, she should have died, but she didn't. And it was so awesome. So she got help. She was in hospital for a while. Her father sent her over to Switzerland for 17 months to get therapy. And the baby was doing good. He's Easton Jr. She finally became a designer, and she got herself back together. Unfortunately, her and Easton relationship did not get back together. He said, I love you, but I cannot love you in that aspect. I understand, but then I think Dominique might sneak us something in the future, because he's to be blamed for some of it. She was definitely wrong because she needed help, but I think they could make amends because they're good for each other. He loves her enough to take care of her, and he loves her the right way. You know what I mean? But that's the end of the book. It's called Pray You Catch Me. written by Dominique Thomas. Check it out, guys. Bye.